Today, we're not just gonna tell you some scary stories, we're gonna take them apart. We're gonna dissect them piece by piece to figure out what really, truly terrifies us in this crazy, hyper-connected world we live in. Ready? Let's dive in. So just think about this for a second. Your home, your own mind, your sense of what's real and what's not. I mean, these are the bedrock of your entire world, right? But what happens when that bedrock starts to crumble? When the one place you're supposed to be safe suddenly isn't? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break down three, pretty harrowing true stories. And look, this isn't about getting a cheap jump scare. The goal here is to really get under the hood and understand the mechanics of fear. How do these stories tap into the things that scare us the most? All right, let's start with case study number 1. This one hits right where we live, literally. We're talking about the home, that ultimate safe space. It's a story that shows you how quickly a dream can sour into an absolute nightmare, and how sometimes 4 walls and a deadbolt just aren't enough. So, paint this picture in your mind. You've got 2 women, both just 20 years old, and they're so excited they've just moved into their first house together. But there's a catch. The house right next door, it's pretty much abandoned, and the garden between their house and that one is totally open. That single detail, that vulnerability, that's where this whole nightmare begins. And what's so terrifying here is the escalation. This isn't a one-and-done scare. It's a slow burn. Think about it. It starts small, almost dismissible. A guy just staring from a window. Creepy, sure, but you might brush it off. Then guys are just walking into their garden. Okay, now it's a real intrusion. Then it gets personal, whistling and tapping on their bedroom window at 2 in the morning. And it culminates in this act of pure psychological warfare. I mean, a masked man standing like a crucifix in your garden? Every single step is calculated to just chip away at their sense of safety until there's nothing left. And this quote right here is the moment everything shifts. They call the cops about their stolen camera, probably expecting to be told they're overreacting, but the police operator doesn't do that. She says the exact opposite. She basically confirms their worst fears. And in that one moment, all that creeping paranoia, it feels completely, terrifyingly justified. They realize this isn't just harassment anymore, it's practice. And this is the climax, the final straw. The threat isn't subtle anymore. It's right there on camera. Masked men, a crowbar, shining flashlights into their windows. Their sanctuary has been completely violated. And the worst part? Even with video proof, the system that's supposed to protect them fails. They're left completely and utterly alone. Okay, let's shift gears. Case number 2. We're moving from a physical attack on a home to a psychological assault on the mind itself. So what happens when the monster isn't at your window? What if the threat is everywhere, echoing in the mouths of total strangers? So in this story, we have a woman who finally gets out of a really controlling relationship. She does everything you're supposed to do, changes her number, moves away, gets off social media completely. She builds these digital and physical walls to create a safe space. But somehow, her ex finds a way to tear those walls down without ever setting foot near her. And this is the absolute core of the horror. It's brilliant in a terrifying way. This isn't just random name-calling. It is the weaponization of their shared past. Things only she would know he said. That sarcastic nickname, Sunshine, coming from her barista. A line from an old argument, repeated by her rideshare driver. These aren't coincidences. They are deeply personal, specific phrases, and they're being spoken by complete strangers. Suddenly, every single person she meets could be a part of it. So you're sitting there thinking, okay, it's the ex. He's got friends doing this for him, right? Makes sense. But then, the story just pulls the rug right out from under you. Turns out, Caleb, the ex, has an airtight alibi. He's in rehab. No phone, no internet, no contact with the outside world. And that's when the fear just explodes. This isn't just a bitter ex anymore. This is something organized, something much, much bigger. If it's not him, who is it? How are they doing this? So she tries to run again, tries to disappear completely. And then she finds this message, scribbled on the back of her doormat. A place you'd think is safe, right outside her own apartment door. The threat just jumped from being verbal and out in the world to being physical, right on her doorstep. It's a clear signal. We know where you are, you can't hide, and we're laughing at you for trying. I love the term she invents for this. It's just so perfect. She calls it psychological graffiti. Think about it. Like a graffiti artist tags a wall, her abuser is tagging the entire world with his presence, with his words. The real goal isn't just for him to watch her. It's to make her watch everyone else, to see him in every face. It forces her into this constant state of paranoia that would just break your mind. All right, our third and final case study. This one takes us into the gray area, the space where things get fuzzy. This story is all about ambiguity. It masterfully blurs the line between a very real human threat and something else. It's about that specific kind of terror you feel when you just can't explain what's happening, when logic breaks down and you're left staring into the unknown. You know the setup. It's a classic for a reason. A big family trip to a beautiful but really remote Airbnb right on one of the Great Lakes in Michigan. They're all there to have a good time, make some memories, but the cousins, they get put up in this separate garage building out back. And it's kind of creepy, a little run down, and that's exactly where this story takes a very dark turn. Just look at how this night unfolds. It starts with these 3 violent bangs on the garage door in the middle of the night. Scary, but you could try to explain it away. Maybe. But then it gets weirder. An uncle goes out and confronts a man he sees standing behind the garage. And the guy doesn't run, he doesn't say anything, he just stares. And then, poof, vanishes. No sound of leaves crunching, no footprints, nothing. And then you have these demonic-looking gesture cards left behind, one in the garage, one in the main house. It adds this really bizarre, almost theatrical layer of menace to everything. So what was it? I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? Was this just some local with a flair for the dramatic pulling a really twisted prank? Or was it something else? Something that doesn't play by our rules? And that's where the true horror of this story lies. It's in the not knowing. The fear that comes when you can't be sure what you're even fighting against. Okay, so we've got a physical siege on a home, a psychological invasion of the mind, and a terrifying brush with the unknown. 3 very different kinds of nightmares. So let's pull it all together. What's the common denominator here? What are the building blocks of horror today? This chart lays it out pretty clearly. Story number 1, it's a physical threat, one that keeps escalating, and it preys on our fear of losing our safety. Story 2 is all psychological. It's everywhere at once, and it targets our fear of losing our sanity. And story 3, well, it's ambiguous, it's unexplained, and it goes after our fear of losing our certainty, our very grip on reality. Safety, sanity, and certainty. Turns out, those are the 3 pillars that modern nightmares are designed to knock down. So what's the big takeaway here? I think it's this. The scariest stories today aren't really about the monster hiding in the shadows anymore. They're about the shadows themselves taking over. They're about the systems we trust, our homes, our own minds, our sense of what's real, completely failing us. The real nightmare isn't the monster. It's the collapse of the world that's supposed to protect you from it. And that leaves us with one last, kind of unsettling thought to chew on. In that first story, the camera that was supposed to keep them safe was turned into a weapon against them by being removed. In the second story, the whole world basically became a surveillance camera for a ghost. So it really makes you think, doesn't it? In this world where we record and document everything, who's watching the watchers? And maybe even scarier, what do you do when the camera you can't trust is your own mind?
Please like and subscribe.